Do I have... Hi, my name's Jane Dobkin, and I'm a pastry chef. So I'm accustomed to working with phyllo dough. It's a little bit difficult, but once you get the hang of it and get going, it's not so bad. And today I'm using those pastry skills to make a savory strudel made with frozen chopped spinach and assorted wild mushrooms of your choice. We are actually using shiitakes and portobellos mixed, and assorted herbs and spices, leeks, shallots, fresh garlic sauteed together, and there's white wine in the mix, and the chopped mushrooms, which are sauteed separately. And now I'm going to make them into a strudel by rolling them inside layers of phyllo dough, which can be substituted with puff pastry if you like, but that's very time consuming and tedious to make, and it's difficult to get made with real butter. And you really, you have to use either real butter or a nicely flavored margarine, as I'm using, in order to get the flavor between the layers of phyllo dough. So here we go. First, I'm going to take 2 layers of phyllo dough from the stack. It dries out very quickly. It's just made with flour and water, so it dries out like paper if it's not kept moist. So in order to create you can see how difficult it is to separate the sheets. I may have accidentally wet these with my fingers when I was pulling apart the last row. And that's what happens with it. So you pull apart, for this recipe, 2 sheets, cover it back over with plastic wrap and a moist towel to keep the moisture in. You lay these 2 sheets out, and as soon as they are flat on your work surface, these are not cooperating quite well, but I'll get them to work. Pull them into shape. Now you quickly brush them with, I'm using Smart Balance margarine because it's healthier for you than butter. Doesn't have all the fats in it, and it still has a very good flavor. Now you take, no, it's a healthy spread. Take another sheet, lay it on top, cover up the unused sheets so they again stay moist. Brush the 3rd sheet with more melted spread. And what happens when the spread, whether it's butter, I have made these with butter before, or a spread like Smart Balance, when it goes into the oven in the middle of in between the layers of phyllo, and it hits the heat. Looks like we're at the end of our phyllo, so we'll have to open up another box. Anyway, when it goes into the oven, when you bake the strudels, which I'll show you as soon as I finish this roll, what we do with each log as we put it on the prepared pan for freezing at this point, and then ultimately baking and serving. Okay, you'll see what they look like. They, when they hit the oven, the moisture in the spread will expand, as you learned from chemistry or physics, chemistry I guess, that the moisture in there will expand in the heat and cause layers to form between the layers of phyllo. Now we're going to take our filling and lay it out in spoonfuls along the short edge of the phyllo. I forgot to mention, you want to put the phyllo in front of you so it's long ways in front of you. The short end is facing you and the short end is far from you, and along the sides are the long ends because that's the way you're going to roll it. So you take heaping tablespoons, and you can make them narrower if you want to make them for an appetizer portion. You put it on about an inch from the edge of the short edge of the phyllo and about an inch from each end. Shape it with your fingers so that it's pretty evenly spaced. so that somebody doesn't get a huge filled slice and somebody else doesn't get a little tiny filled skimpy slice. Try to make it even. Then fold up each side on either side of the log of filling, like that. Start folding the edge, the short end of the phyllo up around the filling. Be careful because if it's dry, it will start falling apart. If there's any pieces that didn't get butter or margarine spread on them. And then start rolling. And you'll notice that the underside, which is moist because of all the margarine, the spread that's on it, it's moist and it's very soft and pliable. Whereas this part on the outside that didn't get very moist, and I'll put a dash of spread on that to keep it moist, is very dry and paper-like. And then you just keep folding over and over. You can put a little bit more spread on the ends to keep them moist and make them stick together. Tuck that up at the end. And then just keep folding this up around the log of filling as you roll away from you. And you can pick up a few spare pieces if they fell off or whatever. You can pick them up, spread a little bit of melted spread on them or butter, and just reapply them to fill in some spaces where it may have torn. And you see they stick right away and become part of the same log of strudel. Put a little bit of the spread, melted spread on the end to act as glue. Because once it's wet, it sticks together. Now I'm going to transfer this to the tray that's already been prepared with, I'm going to tuck the ends in a little bit, and I'm going to pick this log up and transfer it to the tray that has been sprayed with nonstick spray. And I'm going to put it on the tray, carry it gently and quickly, and now I'm going to bring this melted spread over and give it a quick final dose. You'll see these that were already on the tray are moist and wrinkled because of the moisture that is in the spread that covered them, and this one you can see is still dry. So I'm going to take some of this spread and brush it over the outside of the strudel for a final finish of the layers to keep them soft and moist, keep them from flaking off. And then once I finish filling this tray, brush it so it kind of connects like glue. Brush the ends to keep them moist. And once this tray is full, it'll hold about a half sheet tray will hold about 6 logs. And then it can be double wrapped in plastic wrap and labeled with the date and the contents and frozen. And then when you take them out, you want to let them, sorry, my phone's ringing. You want to let them defrost for 1 hour prior to baking. And then bake them, put them on the buttered cookie sheet, which they are already on. Bake in a 400-degree preheated oven for 20 to 30 minutes until the pastry is crisp and golden brown, and you'll see it will kind of crack a little bit, kind of like a birch tree bark. It's very attractive and very delicious smelling in your room while you're baking it. And then take it out and slice it into slices. You can make thin slices, maybe slice it into quarters if you're going to serve it as a side dish for your meal, or slice it into 6 pieces, or slice each log into either 6 or 8 slices if you want to serve it as an hors d'oeuvre. Enjoy! Bon appetit!